Flames and smoke raced skyward after one of 3 explosions in the southern Iraqi city of Basra August 7th. Although sectarian violence has dropped dramatically in recent years, bombing and suicide attacks still occur on a regular basis. Meanwhile, the failure of March elections to produce a coalition government is raising concerns about Iraq's ability to stop the violence. Despite those concerns, the commander of U.S. forces in Iraq, General Ray Odierno, says Iraqi security forces are ready to assume greater responsibility.
I think we'll see some first steps towards forming the government by 1 September. But our numbers are not linked to that formation of the government. Our numbers are linked to the capacity that the Iraqi security forces being able to sustain stability. And I think they are moving towards that capacity.
At a recent news conference in Iraq, an Iraqi army commander echoed General Odierno's confidence.
Our security forces are well prepared and will be responsible for keeping security in the country. We were fully prepared to take all the responsibilities from the U.S. forces during this phase.
General Odierno says the 50,000 U.S. troops that will remain in Iraq represent what he calls a very significant presence. But others say the uncertainty of Iraq's future government is a far greater concern. Hella Dale is a Middle East expert at the Heritage Foundation think tank in Washington. She says too much emphasis has been placed on what the September 1st deadline means regarding U.S. troop levels in Iraq.
One of the things it was supposed to achieve was to make the Iraqis stand on their own feet, to make the Iraqis form a government, to put pressure on Iraq to get its act together. And that's not happening.
Dale says if Iraq fails to establish a coalition government soon, the burden of implementing a counterinsurgency strategy and law and order may rest with Iraq's military commanders.
They are in charge of the cities, they are in charge of much of the country, but I think the leadership would almost have to come from them in order to deal with insurgents on the ground.
Just last week, the United Nations Security Council called on Iraq's recently elected legislature to form a government quickly. The UN's top diplomat in Iraq, Ad Melkert, says delays are contributing to uncertainty, which could be exploited by those opposed to democracy in Iraq. Robert Raffaele, VOA News.